So I'm going to do this while the thoughts are in my head, because if I happen to expire from this, I want a record left that these people are just pure evil. I mean, I've never seen evil like this in my life. So, revisiting the air duct, Wingate management at Hillside, also known as HellSide Senior Apartments, with the huge, thick coating of dust in the air duct. I dealing with this, inhaling all this soot and ash and all this other stuff. I have developed respiratory problems to the point of where you can actually hear me on exhales. There's like a whistle in my trachea or someplace now, and I recorded it, and I'm going to try to put this together because it's an audio recording of me at night. So to those of you who don't know anything about drywall is like a white paste, a plaster that is put between glue, two sheets of paper. And the two sheets of paper are glued onto this white plaster. And what ends up happening is that when you build a house, it's called sheetrock. You put that up on the wall, and then you put tape over top of the seams, and you putty it, sand it down, and you paint that, and that's your wall. Okay, so when the dust and the powder is all in the air, you have to wear a mask in order to keep from inhaling that stuff. Because what will happen is if you inhale it, it will coat your throat, it will coat your lungs, it will coat the inside of your nose, and it will prevent you from being able to breathe properly. And that's what happened to my partner. She'd be coughing all night, wake up with headaches, and eventually found it hard to breathe, to the point of where she developed respiratory ailments from inhaling that. The cigarettes, the trail of the cigarettes coming from the people that smoke next door, the only people that are next door to us. They smoke cigarettes in their chairs right outside our flat's window. They smoke their drugs, and then they smoke it in the house. It comes through the walls. You saw in the video of the air duct how the walls are built with no insulation, just 2x4s left with drywall. Rust, soot, dust, ash all over the floor. For 2 years we've been breathing this stuff in, floating in the air. You saw how the stuff floats through the air like snow. And so my partner was coughing all night, had headaches, makes you lethargic, and it's a fine dusty powder. So, I mean, what ends up happening, the idea is that stuff coats your throat, and every time you swallow, it mixes with saliva, dehydrates you, and it forms a layer on your stomach, like a porridge, a soup, a toxic mixture of paste, drywall, dust, paste. It's like a white milky substance that forms on a layer on the top of your stomach. It lines your stomach. It affects your intestines. It lines your lungs. It covers the bacilli and the other pulpy part of your lungs, preventing you from getting oxygen, which is what happened to her. She had to be put on oxygen and a respirator. She was given at least 3 or 4 blood transfusions, and these people think it's all right to sell units like this to the elderly. The unit that we have, 2-bedroom, subsidized, costs about $1,500 a month. Now they're charging $16 for a 1-bedroom. We got a 2-bedroom. Now they're charging $1,600 a month for one. We were originally sold that unit by a lady by the name of Rosalind Bangura. With her minion, dolt, Robert. I don't remember his last name, but I'll include it when I get a chance. Then that juxtaposed, the stairs falling out, no way to get off the landing without going past the dragon's breath, with this thing on their door next door saying he has risen. Must be Lucifer has risen, because it's the most evil people I've ever lived next door to. Getting absolutely trashing the place, getting drunk, hanging out on the front, assaulting me with insults, demeaning me to their cats. They talk to their cats about me, yelling out loud, insulting me because I don't want anything to do with them. Why would I? Why would I want to talk to people that can just randomly attack me, don't know anything about me, and just mock me and laugh at me like we're revisiting 3rd grade, you know? But they sell these places to the elderly, all done up in bubblegum and chicken wire, making it look like these places are habitable. The housing inspectors give them their stamp of approval without even inspecting these places. I mean, these places are hideous. Anytime you're breathing in rust, black mold, soot, ash, and it's coating your lungs and your stomach in this milky white soup to the point of where you're dying from it. And you go down to the office and they treat you like an imbecile. And you just report it over and over and over again. So much so that they have the residents there form a citizens committee. They feel helpless, hapless, hopeless, like they can't get anything done because these people basically laugh in your face. They're getting paid. They got theirs, you know. They go home to wherever it is they live with their successful sales to the elderly who are so poor that they need their rent subsidized, and they just look down upon you look down their noses upon you. One manager that's there right now talks to you in this outside voice, like she actually has to yell at you inside, because I guess the presumption is you can't hear, or you're stupid, or it doesn't get through, or something like that. But this is the way that they're handling Wingate Properties, also known as Hillside Senior Apartments. Which is really HellSide, because it's a living hell. And the thing is that revisiting the narrative, I lost my partner. It took both of our incomes to meet the required rent, and I end up losing them. So now I'm constantly behind a month, not in a position to save any money to do a last month's payment on a new facility, have to work to exhaustion. I literally worked from 9 yesterday, and it's 9:22 now. I haven't been back to this dust ball since 9 yesterday when I started working, and now it's 9 today, and I'm just on my way back. Got like a 40-minute drive to get back to there, if not more. And these people just laugh in your face, mock you, tell you they're going to do things they never do. The ex-maintenance man, I have to do an addendum because I made a misstatement on the last video. The maintenance men do not change the filters every month. And I said that in haste because I was so angry that I wanted to make the video, and so I said it in haste. They change the filter once about every 4 or 5 months. And I'm sure, as I discovered when changing it this time for myself, because it had been in there so long, that they see what's up in that little hellhole nook. With the rust and the black mold and all that dust. When they changed the filter, I'm sure that they saw that in there. How hard would it be to take a vacuum up in there and clean that mess out? But no, they don't do that. They leave it as is, and even that staff has rotated in and out, and they just pull the old filter off, put a new one on, and close it up. And how is that possible that you don't see all that and decide to do something about it? I mean, what good is a filter when all that stuff is blowing like a cloud, permeating the flat, and we're breathing that in? And one of the things that I remember most of all is that when being sold this debacle, Ms. Bangur said, and please don't cover the vents with anything to prevent mold. And it's like, that doesn't make any sense because of the fact that covering the vent would have cut down on having all of that crap blowing in your face and blowing in your eyes. I mean, you can develop visual problems from white drywall dust blowing in your eyes. It can dry out your eyes. It can encrust your nose and coat the inside of your nose. It'll coat the inside of your throat. And as I said, as you swallow, because this stuff is blowing on you constantly, like drapery, as you saw in the video, part 1. When you swallow, it forms a milk on your stomach if it doesn't do more damage. Once it gets down into your intestines, you're done for. And right now, I had to send my partner back to their elderly parents 200 miles away to live, to convalesce from being on a respirator, 3 to 4 blood transfusions, having that stuff coat the inside of their nostrils and their trachea, their windpipe, their lungs, unable to breathe, almost dying from it. And these people could care less if you could call them people. These evil creatures that inhabit the management department refuse, not cannot, but refuse to do anything about it. And whoever inspected these units, I don't know where they got their certification to be housing inspector from, but it couldn't have been from any accredited organization, because of the fact that there's no way on earth that you can say that these places are ready to be inhabited with nonsense like that going on. The dust, the air quality has got to be not suitable for habitation, and the stairs were decrepit and crumbling out from under our feet. For over 2 years, there were people complaining about the stairs falling through before I even moved in there, which was July of 2021. And the stairs just got repaired in April of this year, and they're already splitting down the center because of substandard material, unskilled labor, and just the bare minimum spent. They had 1/4-inch wood screws and particle board on the hinges holding up double doors. So when you open the door, it basically pulled out from the hinge. And I believe during COVID, the price of wood and different types of building material went up quite a couple of 100%. So people were cutting corners, and it shows. So this is Hillside Senior Apartments, where they just make sure they get your money, hike up the prices, smile and put people in there. And then, when I ask for an audience with the leasing agent, Mrs. Gonzalez, she says, "Come on in." She grimaces and rolls her eyes and says, this is going to be a while, like I'm some sort of imbecile child or something when I've got legitimate grievances to discuss, and she couldn't be bothered from her attitude and dismissive attitude about it. And I'm trying to have a meeting with her to discuss the reason I'm tardy with my rent, and she's trying to usher me out of the office to talk to a new prospect, tells the lady to come on in. I continue with my discourse, and she says I'm trying to tear the place down in front of a customer. And I'm looking at her saying, ma'am, I'm not trying to tear anything down. I have a legitimate concern. I'm trying to discuss it with you, and you call this person in. She becomes dismissive when I say, you know, the people next door are smoking cigarettes in a non-smoking building, smoking drugs. She dismisses it, says they're not smoking drugs, totally contradicting me. She's only been here like 5 months maybe at the most. I have no idea how she could know that these people don't do drugs when I've been living next door to it, coming through my walls, coming in the windows, can't open the door, can't open the window, because we're inhaling these carcinogens from incense. And she says, well, you know, there's nothing about not burning incense. And I said, well, a non-smoking building to me is not burning anything that causes smoke. And it's just blown off, dismissed. Oh, I'll send them another note. Like, where is the enforcement of the lease and anything other than, if you're late with your rent, they'll give you the sheet of paper where you can get emergency rent to make sure they get paid, but they don't make sure you get what you paid for. So this is Hillside. You don't want to live here. These people will destroy your house. They will kill you. And this is not hyperbole. They will treat you like you're some sort of demented, elderly idiot, won't take you seriously, blow you off, dismiss you. The Citizens Association has meetings about this on the first Monday of every month, and they voice their concerns, and they're just treated with disdain. With dismissal, with like, it's no big deal to these people because they're going to continue to raise rent. They're going to continue to pitch the new prospective tenants that come in here with the same lies. And as you saw in the newsletter on the first installment of this, that they're catching the unwitting, and then the next thing you know, they're in the office like I was, voicing the same complaints in front of people who are none the wiser, and are going to be sold another inflated unit with the same problems, with a veneer pasted over, and they're going to lose their life. I mean, you know, I'm having respiratory problems. I'm going to try to connect the audio rather, of me trying to breathe at night. And I got this stuff blowing on my face while I'm sleeping, so much so I had to hang some things over top of me so it just doesn't drape over the top of my face. And my eyes are itching, my throat is all raspy and seized up from the dust coating it, and I got a layer of milk dust coating my stomach. So this is the last place you want to live. As a matter of fact, if you go on Twitter, now known as X, and you put in Wingate Companies, you will see that I'm not alone, that there are groups of people with photographs reporting how they do these superficial repairs over things like rats and leaking ceilings and stuff like that. And these people are living this way. This is not a joke. You do not want to live in the properties that are managed by these people with their rotating management staff. And Rosalind Bangura is not even with the company, according to one of the managers, and her imbecile Robert, who looks down his nose at everybody. It's like you've got to learn how to deal with it. It's just unbelievable that these people have humanity, much less are human, and aren't alien from someplace else.